Chase, you're Mr. Zero Trust, so definitely we need to talk about zero trust as a, not new as an idea, as a concept. I mean, not new. It's been going on for a couple of years already. But can you explain shortly, what's the zero trust idea?
So the history of zero trust actually goes all the way back to 2003. So it's been around for a long time. And that's where this group called the Jericho Forum had an idea around deperemiterized security, what security would look like in the cloud era. And they were way ahead of their time. Fast forward a bit to 2010, an analyst at Forrester named John Kindervag took that idea of deperemiterized security and said, that's kind of a bad marketing term. Let's call it zero trust. That's more sexy. But at that time, it was really about firewalls and NAC and segmentation in the network. Whereas now, where we've moved that is what we've talked about, right? Security being around the user, the endpoint, the accesses, those type of things. And that's what continues to go through this. But the zero side of it is where you're removing the default pieces of configuration that would cause compromises, the shares, the accesses, the excessive privileges, all those things, so that you can keep things as close to zero as possible.
Yeah. So it's like things that, for example, it's not because you authenticate it with the right credentials that everything you do from there on should be considered safe as such, right?
Right, and that's where VPNs are part of that problem. Is a lot of times when you look at VPN, if I have a VPN to the corporate resource, it'll just open up the gates for me once I get in. I can touch all kinds of stuff. Whereas SDN and SDP and some of these other solutions, even though I get in, even though I've got creds, it doesn't allow me to maneuver within that infrastructure. That's what you're trying to get to.
Exactly. So SDN and SDP are really two of the, core components in a zero trust architecture.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
Yeah, I think
what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at what the current state of zero trust looks like, I think it is secure endpoints. I think it's managed mobile devices. It's software-defined perimeter. It's really good identity and access management, and it's really good multi-factor authentication. And while there's other components that you can go further down the rabbit hole there, I think if you say what are the core immediate sort of post-COVID world things, that's kind of where we're at right now. Now you could do that through the browser, you could do that through different other solutions, but that's kind of the basic pieces of it as it stands currently right now today.
Yeah. I mean, more and more vendors are applying zero trust and SDP, etc. lingo in their talks, and I guess that businesses increasingly are also actively searching for solutions that are enabled within that philosophy. Is this something that you can endorse as well? That you see in the market happening as well?
Yeah, I think the market itself is pretty much lined up on ZT being the future state for security infrastructure. And the reason I say that is there's been such a growth within the US from the DoD to banking to healthcare. And then there's been final sort of formulaic work groups around that. But then also I get a lot of conversations and calls with people in Europe and in Australia, Japan as well. So this whole thing has become kind of a global bouncing point for what security looks like in the future. And it's because it makes sense. It's because it's based on a strategy, not just more technology.